Well, good evening, race fans, and welcome to Hickory Motor Speedway, which will host round 4 for the All-American Sim Racing Club's Scrambler Series for the street stocks here. As always, on Wednesday nights, my name is Upstate Al. I am proud to bring you tonight's racing action, which is going to be a good one. Twin 40s here tonight at the famed Hickory Motor Speedway. Taking a look at tonight's race information, we're going to have our live qualifying coming right up. Practice session just about to the checker flag. A 40-lap feature for Feature 1. Top 12 cars will then get inverted for Feature 2. And as always, caution laps do not count. All green flag racing here for you on this lovely Wednesday evening. We hope you are well. We thank you for tuning on in. If you can do so, make sure you hit that thumbs up. Let these drivers know that you appreciate their efforts. I can tell you this right now, the man fastest on the speed chart in practice, well, it's none other than the 71 of Brett Hahn, Hayden Swink, and Ron Hart, your top 3 cars here in practice this evening. As always, qualifying will be in reverse order from our practice session as the checkered flag is about to wave here. We bring you into tonight's racing action. We thank you all once again for tuning on in. Hope you're doing well, as this one is going to be a good race. Hickory, one of the newer tracks on the circuit, and well, it is going to put on some great racing. A lot of side-by-side action going to come at us coming right up here, but that means as we roll into qualifying, we will set some fast times. We'll figure it out together as qualifying will start with the number 3. Rolling down here on the front stretch, this is Donovan Carty in car number 3. Will roll out first along with John Demeister in car number 2. Brad Pringer and Deontay Hewer should be our first 3 vehicles out on the racetrack. So I believe Deontay Hewer, John Demeister, and Donovan Carty will be your first 3 cars. And just like that, they start to roll out onto the racetrack, and it'll be car number 3. It'll show up in the first spot out of Plainview, Minnesota. Car number 3, Donovan Carty. They should get 3 laps out there on the racetrack. And the other green mobile out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, this is John Demeister. John Demeister up onto the clock here, and then Deontay Hewer out of Loveland, Colorado. So the drivers out onto the racetrack for group number 1. As they come across the stripe, we'll put up the timing score. It's 15.41 for Carty on lap number 1. Lap number 1 for Deontay Hewer, not going to count. It looks like it maybe touched the wall. So not going to count. Same with Demeister. So they'll come across. They'll have 3 laps to try to put down a fast time. This time by John Demeister will go second overall. Now Deontay Hewer second with a 15.64. And that'll do it for group number 1. So the fast time so far, Donovan Carty in that car number 3 with a 15.41 fast time. Next out onto the racetrack will be the driver of the number 9. This is John Kane out of Yorkville, Illinois. Also rolling out onto the racetrack, Brian Wildash out of Hanover, Pennsylvania. And the number 61 of Franklin Evans from parts unknown here in the United States, possibly Canada, who knows? It is a mystery to us, but we're out there out on the racetrack, and they are going to put on a good show for us. First driver to take the green flag was Waldass, and we'll see what kind of lap time the 951 can put in here to come up off of turn number 4. Waldass is going to jump into the number 2 spot. John Kane, number 2. How about Franklin Evans? Franklin Evans will go second quick with a 15.48. 15.48 for the 61. Brian Waldowson will come across the line. Does he go quicker on lap number 2? He does not. Stays the same. John Kane will slow down as well. And Franklin Evans will hold on to that number 2 spot to get one more crack at it. John Kane up to that 3rd spot. Let's see how they all start to slow down. That's going to ruin any laps that they had hoped of. So now we'll move on to group number 3, and it's going to be led out by the 051. This is Brad Prenger. Brad Prenger out on the racetrack out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. Devin McDonald out of Newfoundland. Just watching, just up at the hockey arena before this race for round number 1 for the Kelly Cup. And, well, our team was playing Newfoundland. So, there. And Nick Fleury out of Hudsonville, Michigan. So we'll see what kind of lap times that they get. Brad Prenger going to go to number 3 spot. Nick Fleury up to 4th. Devin McDonald will slide into that 8th spot. So Brad Prenger in that 051, fastest so far in group number 3. Come across the stripe. It will not go quicker. Well, Nick Fleury does go up the 2nd quick. Now Nick Fleury will come on by. Devin McDonald goes 2nd quick. So a pretty sporty lap by Donovan Carty here in group number 2. Or that was group number 1, excuse me. Setting that fast time, and he will hold on to the provisional pole with a 15.41. Next group will be coming out onto the racetrack. The 88, this is Chuck Darling. Chuck Darling in car number 88 out of Saginaw, Michigan. Also Tim Rogers in car number 48 out of Binghamton, New York. And the 38 of David Patton out of Schererville, Indiana. We'll take the green flag, and we are underway here at qualifying for group number 4. We'll see if these drivers can go a little bit quicker or not. Tim Rogers working on the backstretch as David Patton looks like he'll be the first one up across the stripe. Patton gonna go. Let's see here. Chuck Darling now fastest on the racetrack, 15.34 over Carty. Tim Rogers slides in the 5th, and David Patton will come across the line. He'll go 4th quick. So Charles Darling, your fastest driver so far in qualifying, with a 15.34 second lap time for the 88 of Darling. Group number 5 getting ready to roll on out. Looks like it'll be the 62 of Jeff Dillon out of Millersville, Maryland. Will roll off in car number 62. Also Ron Hart in that pink and purplish number 51. A sharp looking car, first night out for Ron. And Zach Coyer in car number 31. Out onto the racetrack here to try to put their best lap in. We will see who will do so. Zach Coyer going to be the first car on the green flag lap here. These cars should be getting quicker each and every round. So Coyer going to come up off of turn number 4, put lap number 1 in the books. And Coyer is going to go 2nd quick. Ron Hart going to there. Jeff Dillon will jump to 3rd. Here comes Ron Hart to complete his first lap. And Ron Hart is going to go 4th quick. So 2nd, 3rd, and 4th for this group. And looks like everybody will stay in there currently. Here on lap number 2, Ron Hart going to come across stripe. Does he go quicker? He does not. So fast group there, but not fast enough. Chuck Darling up on the front of this one with a 15.34. Zach Coyer tying him. But going into the nitty-gritty, Darling just a little bit quicker than our friend Zach Coyer, which leads us to our final group of the evening. It's going to be the number 71 of Brett the Jet Hahn out of Brighton, Michigan. Rolling out onto the racetrack, and right behind him, car number 35. This is the driver out of Woodstock, Georgia. This is Hayden Swank. Hayden Swank will roll off the corner. Green flag coming up. And Brett Hahn will be the first driver on the clock. We will see what will happen here as they come up off of turn number 4. Brett Hahn coming across the stripe. He was the fastest driver in practice. He'll go 6th overall. Hayden Swank will get a lap in. It's good enough for 17th here on lap number 1. Hahn down into turns 3 and 4. Up off of turn number 4. Checkered flag will come out for Brett Hahn. He will go 3rd quick. Hayden Swank comes across the stripe. And he'll go 3rd quick, knocking Hahn back to 4th, and I believe they get this 3rd and final lap. Try to best their lap time. We're seeing the best lap on lap number 1. Hahn will not improve, and Hayden Swank comes across the line and will not improve at all. So that'll do it for our qualifying here this evening. 17 cars strong. It's going to be Charles Darling picking up the provisional pole here for feature number 1. It'll be right up here coming up soon, so a good qualifying effort there by everybody as we get ready to go with our first feature tonight. Remember, 40 laps is the distance as we will be ready to go racing here momentarily. Drivers getting their last little notes from race control, which we be remiss to not mention. It'll be the number 1. You'll see him on the rundown. Tanner Tallarico, our man up in mission control. We can't do the night without him. We thank Tanner for everything that he does behind the scenes. But here we go for our lineup here tonight. For feature number 1 here at Hickory, Charles Darling in car number 88 will roll off on the pole outside of him. The driver, the number 31, this is Zach Coyer. Car number 35, Hayden Swank, will roll off 3rd outside of him. Will be car number 71. This is Brett Hahn. Jeff Dillon will roll off in the inside of row number 3. And to his outside, the 51 of Ron Hart. Donovan Carty will roll off 7th. And the driver out of Newfoundland, it'll be the number 18. This is Devin McDonald. David Patton will roll off 9th, and his dancing partner to the outside will be the 051. This is Brad Pranger. Tim Rogers makes up the inside of row number 6. This is Tim Rogers, and outside of him, the number 61, the driver out of Michigan. This is Franklin Evans. Franklin Evans will roll off there. Your remaining lineup here tonight, we'll see Nick Fleury rolling off from the 13th spot outside of him, the driver out of Illinois. This is the number 9, the John Kane. Brian Wildanson and Deontay Hewer will make up spots 15 and 16, and shotgun on the field, the number 2. This is John DeMeester. That is your 17-car field that'll take to the green flag here this evening for our first feature of the evening. Zach Coyer rolling them off. This is feature number 1. 40 laps it'll be the distance. Once we go to green flag racing. Darling on the loud pedal first, and we are underway. Down in the turn number 1 they go. Coyer going to work to the outside. Oh, a couple cars brushing the outside wall. I believe that was the 71 of Brett Hahn and the 51 of Hart. They kissed that outside wall. Good action back here. Oh, contact. The 3 of Donovan Carty going to go around. And what could have been a big mess seems to be only a 1-car incident down here between turns 1 and 2. Charles Darling, your race leader. But let's take a look back here and see what happened to Donovan Carty. We'll go from high above in our blimp cam. See him down there on the inside. He is the number 3 car. Gets in there. Oh, Ron Hart just got through the corner a little bit better than the 3 of Donovan Carty did. And off the front bumper he went. Let's go on board with Ron Hart. We'll look out the front of the car as we ride on board. Just slight contact there, and around will go Carty for feature number 1. Just like that, we're stacking back up. We're ready to go back green flag racing. The pace truck will pull off. Quick yellow flag. Green flag is up, and we are back underway. Green flag is up. Green is the 88 of Darling. Coyer right there in your number 2 spot. Your top 2 cars in this feature. Last time by, the fastest lap of the race belonged to Brett Hahn with a 15.68. Jeff Dillon working the outside of the racetrack. He is trying to work around the 18 of Devin McDonald, and this track really allows for some 2x2 racing. McDonald that time a little bit loose on the inside. Ron Hart dives it down low into turns 3 and 4. To come off the corner, down the front stretch they come. It is still a good battle here as they work 2x2 for 5th on back. Now they'll settle it out. Ron Hart going to try to fill the hole underneath the 18 of McDonald. McDonald, oh, hang on to a Hart into the outside wall hard. And I believe heavy right front damage to the 51. Meanwhile, Coyer is trying the diamond up off the corner. Tries to get that run up off the corner. Can't quite do it. Getting a good run through there. Zach Coyer working the backside. Let's go on board with Zach Coyer. Coyer down low. Darling will slam the door shut. Up off the corner. Ron Hart going to try to make it to pit road here as the race leaders catch up to him. A little bit of bumper tag that time between Coyer and Darling up on the front of this one as the field settles in to a single file fashion for the most part. 61 of Franklin Evans working his up the raceway. Up 5 spots from the start of the green flag along with Nick Fleury. Fleury working the outside. He's being challenged by Pranger. Pranger in that 051. Oh, they get stuck on each other. Pranger and Fleury. Caution gonna come out. Those two got stuck together like Velcro up off of turn number 2. Nick Fleury and the 051 of Pranger. And that'll bring out our second yellow flag of the evening. Let's take another peek at this one. See Fleury working the outside. Pranger just got a little bit tight. Then they just got stuck on each other and ran out of racing real estate to bring out our second yellow flag here in feature number 1. So this is a little bit of a tough break there for that driver. But the driver that is up front, well, it's the 88. Chuck Darling set fast time in qualifying here this evening. Now sits here in spot number 2 with the 71 of Brett Hahn. We're now running second. Zach Coyer third. Hayden Swank going to round out in your 4th spot. 5th spot belongs to Jeff Dillon, right where he started. It's been an eventful early run for the driver of the 62. 6th spot belongs to the driver of the 18. This is McDonald in that number 18. Evans, Fleury, John Kane rounding out your top 10. The iRacing.com pace truck. Civic Silverado will jump down to the infield, and we are back green flag and Darling ready to go. And he will jump down low as they come up off the corner. Darling showing away. Coyer now into second. Jeff Dillon works underneath Hayden Swank. Here comes Devin, a little bit more bumper tag through turns 3 and 4. And what has been a thrilling opening first 14 laps here of this feature number 1 of Twin 40s here tonight for the American Sim Racing Club Street Stocks, the Scrambler Series. Still side by side back here in spot number 3. Dillon down low. Hahn working the extreme outside of the racetrack. 2 groups are racing here for the street stocks at Hickory. So far, bid for your race lead. Zach Coyer took a peek to the inside. Darling will slam the door shut on him into turn number 3. Hold on to that race lead here with 24 laps to go. Closing in on the halfway of feature number 1. Evans going to get to the backside of McDonald, get a little bit sideways as they're stacked up behind the dueling battle for your side-by-side battle for third. But now here comes Zach Coyer. Coyer down low, slight contact with the 88 of Darling. That'll check up Coyer. Bring the field back into it. Here comes Jeff Dillon as Coyer will have to regain his composure after that slide for life as they are more contact behind him. Good battles. Evans up the racetrack now as he had made slight contact with McDonald, I believe. Tim Rogers in that 48 quietly making his way up into one spot outside of the top 5. Next time by the cross flags will be shown to your race leader. Charles Darling will be 20 in, 20 laps remaining as they work up off the corner. Number 4 is now, it looks like Hahn under attack, trying to attack the 62 of Dillon. They'll come off their door handle to door handle down the back stretch. So great action, a lot of crossovers here so far in feature number 1. Hahn down to the inside. Evans trying to figure out which lane to go with. Meanwhile, Coyer starting to put a little bit more pressure on your race leader. Darling up the racetrack. That opens the inside. Oh, Darling's in the outside wall. New race leader here on lap 21. Now Coyer will take over sole possession of that race lead. Darling up the racetrack once again. That opens the inside for Brett Hahn. Hahn unable to do anything with it that time. Evans now works underneath the 62 of Jeff Dillon as they go down the backstretch. Great action all the way around here. Keeping an eye on the top 5. The action behind them, Nick Fleury and Hayden Swank. They're working side by side. Fleury up the racetrack, and Swank will kiss the outside concrete. McDonald's trying to find a hole. Will they go 3 wide? McDonald makes slight contact sideways. Dirt tracking it through turns 3 and 4. He will hold on to it. Great action, 15 to go. Brett Hahn running in spot number 2. Coyer out front now, stretching his legs now, half second over the battle for second with Hahn down low. Charles Darling working the outside racetrack, led the first half of this race, now stuck on the outside of the conveyor belt, starting to form up underneath him. Evans works underneath Darling after giving a shot to the 71 of Hahn. Now backs out of it. Tim Rogers right there. Nick Fleury starting to come into the pictures. They've gone single file. Right now, the driver sitting in that 12th spot, Will Dassin, he would like to see that checkered flag wave, as he knows that would be the pole for the next feature. 12-car invert here tonight at Hickory. Good battle back here. The 48 and 88. Charles Darling on the outside battling, trying to stay inside of the top 5. Right now they both have it. Jeff Dillon trying to get back to the top 5. The veteran short track racer behind him, the 25 of Nick Fleury, trying all he can to get a good run on him. Meanwhile, Evans going for second. Franklin Evans going to wrestle the 61 underneath of the 71 of Hahn to take over that number 2 spot. Can he chase down your race leader? We go on board. Evans working in spot number 2. Brett Hahn runs in second. See the battle raging on behind him. Charles Darling still stuck on that outside. Can't find a hole yet. Hayden Swink's now going to fill the hole as he works underneath the 88. Off a turn number 2, they come down the backstretch, this time by 6 to go. As that race lead starting to shrink now, down to 1/10 of a second. Evans starting to catch him. Does he have enough time? That will be the question. Franklin Evans rolls through turns 3 and 4. This time by, it'll be a little bit less time taken off with 5 to go. 5 laps to go for Zach Coyer as he holds on to this, trying to win stage number 1. Started on the outside pole. Has been as low as 3rd on the standings in this race. Now out front, Brett Hahn runs in spot number 3. Tim Rogers 4th. Jeff Dillon now works underneath him as they come off of the corner number 4. 3 to go. David Patton working underneath the number 88 of Charles Darling. So your pole sitter for feature number 1 still stuck on that outside as the Rabbit Ears are up. 2 laps to go for Zach Coyer. And Coyer starting to feel the pressure right now as they come up off of turn number 2. Evans is there, and he has brought company. Final trip around the speedway. It is the 1 lap to go. The final lap. Evans really throws it down in the turns 1 and 2. He cuts down though. He's got to run up off turn number 2. Final trip down the backstretch. Evans going to throw it in underneath the 31. He slides up. They make contact up off the corner number 4. And at the line, it'll be Franklin Evans picking up the win. Zach Coyer will come home second. Brett Hahn third. Rogers and Dillon rounding out your top 5. And just like that, Franklin Evans is going to go to victory lane with a last lap pass here in feature number 1. We will see if we can catch up with our race winner here tonight. For feature number 1, we'll bring him down into victory lane as they get ready to do a quick warm-up here for feature number 2. And we are now down here in victory lane for feature number 1. Franklin Evans and Evans, that was not easy. And it took to the last lap, last corner to make that pass. Talk about feature number 1 and what did you learn that you're going to take into feature number 2?
Well, I really don't know what to say. I think I started like 13th or 14th. And I just took my time, one car at a time, and just saved my tires and passed everybody, not scrubbing too much speed, not trying to hurt the tires, and just saving the tires to the end and taking the passes as they come.
I mean, the racing looked pretty good. It looks like there is a 2 grooves out there. You can make the outside work, but what's it going to take? You're going to come from 12th now in feature number 2. We saw the racing, only a couple yellow flags for some single car incidents in at feature. Can you make it back to the front here in this second feature starting that far back?
I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to do the same thing I did in the first one and just take my time and save the tires and pass clean, and we'll see what happens.
Well, congratulations on this feature number 1 win. We'll let you shake the car down here for the feature number 2. But before we let you go, who you got to thank that makes it all possible for the 61?
There's a lot to go into it. I got to thank Tanner for putting all this on and the ASRC stuff. This is a pretty cool series. Good group of guys to run with. Yeah.
Well, congratulations, Frank. We'll hopefully talk to you again here in feature number 2. But until then, good luck here. We'll be watching this red number 61 come through the field.
Thank you. We're going to try to do it again.
There you go, everybody. That is the winner of feature number 1. That is Frank Evans, and he's going to pick up that win over the number 31. Excuse me. Here, we'll get the race results up onto the screen for you. For feature number 1, here is how they finished. Franklin Evans going to pick up the feature number 1. Zach Coyer second. Brett Hahn was third. Tim Rogers, Jeff Dillon, Nick Fleury, Hayden Swink, David Pat, and Charles will round out your top 10. And just like that, we are headed into feature number 2. And this is what the starting lineup will look like for feature number 2. We take a look at the grid. 12 car invert. Brian Wildassin, who finished 12th, will start in spot number 1 here in feature number 2. Donovan Carty will start in the number 2 spot, car number 3. Devin McDonald will roll off 3rd. And outside of row number 2, we'll go to the 88 of Charles Darling. David Patton will roll off 5th in his number 38, and outside of him, Hayden Swank in car number 35. Inside row number 4, we'll see Nick Fleury in car number 25, and outside of him, the 62, this is Jeff Dillon. Tim Rogers and Brett Hahn will make up row number 5. Zach Coyer and Franklin Evans, we'll have to keep an eye on that in row number 6. Your non-invert cars looking like this for your starting lineup. Deontay Hewer, John Kane, 13th and 14th. John DeMeester, Brad Pringer, and Ron Hart, who is out early in feature number 1 with right front malfunction. We will take and see what happens here in feature number 2. Field rolling around. Brian Wildashin is your race. Going to set the pace. Carty to the outside. Take a look at that. Not a lot of time to, well, cool off in between. Races. So we'll see what happens here in feature number 2. Another 40 laps of great side-by-side action for the Street Stock Scrambler Series presented by the American Sim Racing Club. Got to thank once again Tanner Tallarico for everything he does behind the scenes for us, and we are back to racing just like that. Another 40 quick laps around Hickory, and they are working side-by-side down the backstretch. Into turns 3 and 4, Charles Darling a little bit sideways. Fresh tire, fresh car. If you needed it, it looks like the number 051 of Pranger unable to make the call, so he'll be a retiree on the evening. So a tough break for the driver of the 051. Meanwhile, David Patton working to the inside from his 5th starting spot, already trying to move up a little bit. He's on the inside. Charles Darling as they spang some door panels up off of turn number 2. Jeff Dillon works the outside. Meanwhile, Wildassin showing away over McDonald up front. Top 3 cars have broken away from the battle that we watch here on the race screen. Good battles here down the back stretch. Still 2x2 back here for the 4th position. Hayden Swank would like to go a little bit forward as he's got Nick Fleury and Jeff Dillon starting to breathe down them as they are stuck behind the side-by-side battle of Patton and Darling, who work it off at turn number 4. Bid for your race lead up at the front of this one, though. While Wildassin has it, McDonald would like it. Oh, trouble! It looks like Patton up in the outside wall. David Patton slow on the back stretch. The car seems okay, but heavy right front damage to the 38, and he has dropped back to the 14th position. Him and Charles Darling have slid back. I only can assume contact between those drivers. As we go back towards the front, Franklin Evans start in that 12th position, already up 4 positions to 8th overall. Zach Coyer got a little bit loose. Here comes the 9 of John Kane underneath the 71 of Brett Hahn. Kane working his way forward. Ron Hart had speed in that first feature. Just a tough break. Started back in the 16th position. Already trying to crack inside the top 10 as he goes for 11th right now. And he will take that from the 71 of Brett Hahn. Brian Wildasson still showing the way as we look off the back side as McDonald gives him a shot up off of turn number 2. Can't do anything with him. Carty runs there in spot 3. 4th is Swank and Flory rounding out your top 5. Top 4 cars. Nick Flory now into the 5th position. Tim Rogers 7th, Evans 8th, Coyer 9th, and John Kane rounding out your top 10. A little bit deeper in the field, the number 2 at Demeester running there in your 16th spot. David Patton with his 38 runs 15th. Charles Darling 14th. Deontay Hewer in the 00 13th. Brett Hahn is 12th. We are 5 laps away from the halfway point. Ron Hart runs in the 11th spot. John Kane is in there. So now your top 10 cars, nose to tail, all behind Brian Wildasson. McDonald applying the pressure. Carty right there as well. Hayden Swank in 4th. He is taking a peek to the inside. Got a little bit sideways. Broke the momentum of the 35. Nothing going that time by into turn 3. Off turn 4 with a peek down low once again. Can't capitalize. Tim Rogers up in the outside retaining the wall. That's going to give up the spot to Brett Hahn. Meanwhile, Coyer and Franklin Evans starting to work their way up through the field here. As time quickly running out as we'll come to 21 laps to go. And what has been a green flag affair here in feature number 2. Brian Wildasson still runs it there in spot number 1. McDonald trying to make it. Now Swank underneath the number 3 of Carty. He will deposit himself into this 3rd spot. Oh, hang on to it, McDonald. McDonald was sideways. We're going to split them 3 wide down the back stretch. Here comes Jeff Dillon. We're still 3 wide. Nick Flory getting bounced around a little bit as he's now into your 3rd spot here. And McDonald, who was going for your race lead, got sideways. Now finds himself clawing and trying to hang on to the top 5. Carty on the outside as well as Franklin Evans working it down low. Up off to turn the corner. Evans going to get sideways, and now that really jacks up the field. 1 car out of shape. That was a 3 of Carty. Coyer had to jump on the binders to let him gather it up. Drivers know that time is starting to run out. Is now Brett Hahn, who is just outside of the top 10, now finds himself in 8th, going for 7th, underneath the number 9 of Kane. McDonald with a nice recovery, trying to get back inside the top 4. He works the outside of the 62 of Jeff Dillon. He will fall back in line as Franklin Evans starts to roll in on him. Oh, McDonald hard in the outside wall. And the yellow flag will fly with 14 laps to go for the 18 of Devin McDonald. And more trouble back here. More cars in trouble. That all started with Devin McDonald. Let's take a look and see what happened. Down in the turn 3, a little bit of contact there. He was sideways. Oh, up the racetrack with Dylan. Oh boy. Hard contact. Cardi involved along. Ron Hart's going to go around. Let's go on board in the driver can with and some hard licks there for the 18 of McDonald. David Patton is down on pit road as well with his number 38, trying to get some damage fixed. And the complexion of this race just got changed, as I believe somehow we missed the pass for the race lead during all that. And we, lucky enough, we can go back and take a peek at it. He got to run up off of turn number 2 down to the inside. And Swank took the race lead, made it look easy. Though it's not. So now you're underneath the yellow flag for the first time here in feature number 2. So the field will come back to life up off of corner number 4. Green flag is up. 13 laps to go. Old Aston runs in spot number 2. Evans 3rd. Fleury 4th. Now Fleury and Evans will battle it out door to door off of turn number 4. And here comes Brett Hahn. He fills the hole down low as they work down the backstretch. And it is Swank out on the front of this one. Next time by, the flagger will give them the double high fives. 10 laps to go next time by as they come off of turn number 4. And Wildasson trying to get back to the top spot, but here comes the 25 of Nick Fleury, Brett Hahn, Evans, and Coyer. All those drivers started deep in the field. Can they make it to the front? 9 to go. Did they save enough tire? Were they saving maybe a little too much? That is all to be seen. John Kane still runs back here in 8th with Jeff Dillon trying to make his way back through the field. He'll work underneath the 48 of Tim Rogers as he'll run in the 11th position. Meanwhile, Hayden Swank up front, but here's a 3-wide battle down the backstretch. Nick Fleury up to the runner-up spot. Brett Hahn in 3rd. And your early race leader now relegated back to what looks like will be the 5th spot, as Evans will get by as 5 laps to go. 1:35 to go for Hayden Swank, who is stretching his legs, trying to get back to the front. Coyer down low underneath Waldassin. They come off the corner. 4 to go. Good battle up at the front of the field here. Nick Fleury runs in second. Brett Hahn up to third. Franklin Evans started 12th, now is 4th. Zach Coyer slides into the 5th position. Here comes Charles Darling with a run back towards the front of the field. Can Darling make it back into the top 5? Remember, Darling set fast time in qualifying here tonight. 2 to go. Swank feeling the pressure from Nick Fleury. One slip up is all it could take. Here's the white flag will fly. Oh, contact at the front of the field. Swank's going to hold on to it. Fleury back to the gas first. Down to the inside, down the backstretch. Fleury going to slide it hard into the corner. They make contact. Up the racetrack they come. Here comes Brett Hahn to the inside, and Hahn's going to steal it. Hahn will steal it after Fleury and Swank make contact in turns 3 and 4. And Brett Hahn is going to pick up the win, go from 3rd all the way to the lead here at Hickory in feature number 2. Brett the Jet Hahn going to pick up the win. Evans will come home 4th, Coyer 5th. That'll round out your top 5. The rest of your field right there, you see Charles Darling 6th, Waldassin will come home 3rd, John Kane 8th, Jeff Dillon unofficially 9th, and Hart will finish 10th. Patton 11th, Rogers 12th, Hewart, McDonald, DeMeester, Carty, and Pringer. All unofficial for your results here in feature number 2. But just like that, what a wild one. Let's take a quick breather. We'll come back with our post-race show, and we will talk to tonight's feature winner, Brett Hahn.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Welcome back here to the Hickory Motor Speedway, where we are headed down trackside for tonight's interview with feature number 2 winner and a driver that, well, I guess sometimes, Brett, they say it's lucky to be, or it's better to be lucky than to be good. And tonight you are both coming home with this the feature 2 win after contact up at the front between Fleury and Swank. Man, use your patience. We saw you back as far as 13th here in this feature. How'd you end up in victory lane?
Yeah, Al, it was big time patience, but first and foremost, how about those finishes tonight? Holy smokes, I tell you what, feature 1 was a barn burner photo finish to the line, and then feature 2 contact and we sneak one out. I mean, man, that's I don't think you can ask for anything more exciting.
No, you definitely cannot. I mean, the racing, if you did not think the racing was good tonight, not only for the series that we've seen each and every week, but also, just overall. I mean, the racing hard. You guys trading paint, a lot of bumper tags out there. The Street Stock Scrambler Series, not a disappointment. So in either feature, but talk us through that last lap. We saw the 35 of Swank and Fleury make contact in turns 1 and 2. How hard was it to be patient to kind of let that play out to maybe have a shot like you did in turns 3 and 4?
Yeah, it was definitely tough because as soon as I saw the contact, especially in the middle of the corner, I wanted to jump on the throttle at my normal place, and I would have ran straight in the back of Nick. So we kind of fluttered the throttle, jumped to the outside, and then got a big run down the backstretch. And I said, I'm going to go kind of sail it high, park it, get this thing to turn, and drive off as low as I can because I know we saw contact in race number 1, and I was banking on it there. And now, I don't know, we definitely stole one there off of turn number 4 to lead the only lap of the night, the one that counts.
Say the only one that really matters, right, Brett? Man, great race. You had a good overall finish in feature number 1, so you got to look at it as a great points night, a win, and I believe a top 5, if I remember correctly, in feature number 1. So overall, a very good points night, and walking out of here with a trophy is also probably a little bit of a bonus.
Yeah, that is, Al. We started off the season a little bit rough, especially like I go back to race number 2, Darlington finished Eldora finishing dead last, and yeah, to come back with a win. Frankie was fast tonight. He won and feature 1, let's say, and I let him go because I knew that 61 machine was moving and I didn't want to be in front of him. And then this feature 2 just played my cards right, got hung out to dry, like you said, Al, on the top side. I mean, you cannot make that top side work worth anything, and just kind of bought my time, slowly started picking cars back off, and we had some crazy incidents that somehow didn't bring out a yellow, and we found ourselves up to the top 3, and then I knew it's game time now.
Yeah, such a good night overall. Great racing. Next week, though, another challenging event for you here in this series. What's it going to take to get into victory lane next week? Maybe once, if not twice, as we head to the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Irwindale, I believe.
Yep, it's going to be Irwindale Inner, and I tell you what, Al, we ran the super late models there once, and I blew off my right front in like 15 laps. It's going to be a tire eater, and I know I got to be super patient there because I didn't last time, and man, I fell back like a rock. So I'm going to go be very patient, really mind my P's and Q's, try and hit that bottom every single lap, and hopefully come out of there with a decent finish. I mean, you thought tonight we'll see bumping and banging. Man, Irwindale Inner with pretty much no inside wall, we're going to see some guys really leaning on each other there.
Well, Brett, congratulations on your win here tonight from a fellow Turn 3 broadcaster to another one. Congratulations. But before we let you roll on out of here and get into that post-race room of doom, who makes it all possible for you in this, the number 71?
Yeah, of course, Al, you said it best. Turn 3 Racing Network, the best broadcasters out there. Appreciate everything you do, Al. You put on a great show. Can't wait to watch this one back. That was an exciting race. And, of course, you're on the car. You guys are the primary sponsor of Turn 3 Racing Network. Always does it up. Of course, all the Brett the Jet fans watching out there. I believe my grandma, Grammy out there, mom, dad, the girlfriend, Jessie, out there watching as well. And, of course, got to give a huge shout-out to the teammates, Nick Fleury, Dave Payne, got a little bit of an incident. Tim Rogers, always very quick. He finished, I think, 4th right behind me in Feature 1. And then, of course, Tanner putting on an awesome league. And, guys, if you're looking for a great racing league, I tell you what, some close racing, of course, some contacts inevitable, especially at these short tracks. But, man, you can't ask for much better than that, Al. We are pumped up. We're cracking open some cold ones, and we're celebrating down in Victory Lane tonight with the 71 Brett the Jet crew. Woo!
There you go. cracking some cold ones, having a nice beverage here as I'm getting drowned here in Victory Lane because the crew goes wild. Make sure you stop down at the 71 hauler and partake in those celebrations. And one driver that's going to come up just one spot shy here, and not for a lack of trying it, it would be the driver of the number 25 of Nick Fleury. And Nick, man, you gave it everything that you had. What a great race, great ending to the night. Overall, a good night for this 25 team, but I know that second is not where you wanted to finish.
Yeah, but I'll definitely take it as long as I finish in front of that 35. There was a lot of back pay in that move at the end there, including from when he just absolutely demolished me down onto the apron of that race. So after that, I'd call us even until he starts driving over his head again in some other races.
Well, Hickory didn't disappoint here for us. The feature number 1 was a great race. This was a great one as well. How much patience did you have to have? You started back in the 7th position, and it looked like it was going to go green the checker there, and then we had that one yellow flag at the middle, that just past the halfway point of this race. What was the mindset coming into this feature? Obviously, we know that things got a little heated at the end, but at the coming into this feature number 2, knowing you're starting about mid-pack, what was the mindset trying to get to the front?
Yeah, for sure, it was all patience, and it was just minding those tires, keeping them okay. I did it all run long. It was perfect. I had the perfect tires to chase those guys down in the last 13 laps. But then that caution came out and it killed me. It cooled down their tires and put us on equal footing. Put the 71 of Brett Hahn right behind me, so I couldn't actually set people up anymore. But yeah, it takes so much patience because you're all on top of each other on this small, tiny little track, and you really have to back it down so you don't just drive over top of the guy in front of you. So you can actually race. You got to use your brains and be strategic about where you position your car and how you make the moves.
Well, next week it sounds like another technical track coming at you as we go to Irwindale, and I was just told it's going to be the inner track, so not a lot of banking, no real out of bounds markers on the racetrack. Obviously, there is out of bounds. You can't go as low as you would like to, or just run the infield. But next week going to be a challenge for not only you but the rest of the field. What's the outlook headed into Irwindale next week?
Yeah, there's not a whole lot you can do as far as planning for a race like that. You just got to go into it, keep your car clean, and try to keep from getting wrecked by someone else, and just save it for the end.
Well, congratulations, Nick, on a nice runner-up spot here in spot number 2, or feature number 2. Who makes it all possible for you in this 25 team?
Yeah, first I got to start with my Lord and Savior. He's the creator, and he's what we do all this for. Then I got to thank my sponsors, CPM Incorporated. Got to thank my race team, RHE Racing. We have a lot of fun strategizing and learning how to drive these cars. And then finally, got to thank my beautiful wife.
Well, congratulations on your second place finish. We hope to be talking to you in 1 week's time, but until then, keep it wheels down, will you?
Thank you very much.
There you go, Nick Fleury gonna come home in spot number 2, and that'll bring us down here to the final rung on the podium, and it is the driver of the number 35 of Hayden Swank. And Hayden ran a great race. First feature, a little bit not where you wanted to finish, but set you up for a good start here, and you're gonna come home third. Talk us through your night and how to look from your point of view, leaving here at Hickory and moving on to the next one.
Yeah. So obviously tonight didn't end quite the way we wanted to, but I had speed all night. I tried to play a little tire saving strategy in the first race, and once I got stuck on the outside and shuffled back a few positions, it didn't work out. But we were able to make some moves in the second heat, or in the second feature, and had a really fast car. Just didn't quite end up the way we wanted it to. So it was still good momentum, good points, and looking forward to moving on to next week.
Yeah, next week going to be another challenging race as we move to Irwindale, and it's going to be on the flat inner racetrack, so a lot of patience and probably a lot of tire eating situation on that Irwindale inner track. Have you ran that racetrack before, And do you have any expectations after leaving Hickory?
Yeah. Well, one thing's for sure, those right front tires next week are going to be begging for mercy. I haven't actually run this track ever, the Irwindale quarter mile, but my background is Bandoleros and Legends Cars Racing, and I did that for about 6 years. So hopefully the quarter mile flat track, CM Field tracks, it all comes back to me, and hopefully we're able to finish the deal off tomorrow, next week.
Well, congratulations on a third place run here in feature number 2. I know a little disappointing after leading some laps, but it had to feel good to lead some laps. Who makes it all possible for this 35 team?
Yeah, it was, felt great to be out front. Definitely need to get some momentum back after a few poor weeks, especially Eldora and Darlington not quite going the way we wanted it to. But, I just got to give a huge shout out to the ASRC. They do an amazing job putting these shows on. I know the Scrambler Series is probably the most innovative, most exciting series they've ever done. So I just want to give a huge thanks to them and all the other drivers as well. The caliber of competition this year has been absolutely stout. That first green flag run we had in the second race was amazing. So, I'm just always excited to be a part of this series.
Well, congratulations, Hayden. We hope to talk to you in 1 week's time as we head out west to California to the Irwindale Speedway. But until then, buddy, we hope to see you on the racetrack elsewhere. And if not, we'll see you next Wednesday night.
Sounds good. Yep. Hopefully I'll be talking to you again next week.
There you go. That's your third place finisher, the driver of the 35 of Hayden Swank. And that'll wrap up tonight's post-race show here at Hickory, where Brett Hahn and Frank Evans have gone to victory lane in their respected features here tonight. We want to thank everybody for tuning on in, and make sure you go down and celebrate with Brett the Jet Hahn. It sounds like they're going to have one heck of a party at the 71 Hauler. But until next week, we head to Irwindale. Another night of great action on tap in 1 week's time. But until then, keep it wheels down, and we'll see you in turn 3. Good night, everybody.